Leon Schreiber, South Africa's Minister of Home Affairs, has announced plans to overhaul the country's 6 busiest border posts, including the critical Beitbridge border post, as part of a broader effort to modernize border management and improve security. Schreiber said these high-traffic crossings will be rebuilt or significantly upgraded to handle growing volumes of people and goods more efficiently. The goal is to reduce congestion, strengthen immigration control, and support trade across key regional corridors.
These cars do.
Stephen, I wish you would have seen it in the morning when it got into the water. It's quite a powerful vehicle, and you'll see it in a short while. But Stephen, I remember very well, January was the month when I was here at Beitbridge, and we saw scenes like this. The fence, border fencing still remains a huge challenge. And amongst other things, the minister was here to assess was this. It was his first time, Stephen, and we were starting to, to show you these visuals first before we show you that those vehicles which were introduced here at the border. But now that the minister was here, the interventions at least that he spoke about, curb the national security, the economic stability, and the efficiency of movement of illegal crossing here at the border, not just here only, and the 52 other ports of entry, land ports of entry. So this is one of the vehicles, Stephen, which it's not the amphibious car. It's one of those they use here on land to combat the operations that they perform. But there it is, just behind me, and I'll allow Tabo to turn. There is the amphibious vehicle. I had an opportunity to ride in it. It's quite comfortable. It's got aircon. It can go into water. It can go in tough terrains with those high wheels. But perhaps somebody who can tell us better about this vehicle and why it's here and the efficiencies that we're going to see and how it will assist here at how it assists rather here in the border is none other than the Commissioner of the BMA, Ndate Michael Masiapato. And Ndate Masiapato, the vehicle was here. We saw it. You were in it in the morning. There was quite rough waters, the Limpopo River. How the assistance of these vehicles, how will it assist in curbing the illegal movement, at least, or act as a deterrent for those crossing the border illegally?
No, thank you very much, Skara. Yeah, maybe let's start by saying that, yes, we had this partnership with DCD Mobility, which is a company that produces this kind of vehicles. So in this instance, they basically came as part of a bit of a proof of concept in terms of what they have. So this vehicle is what they call amphibian. So basically it's able to move on ground, but also be able to also move on soil.
Let's do this. Let's take a walk. While you talk to me about it, and I want the viewers to see it and see less of us.
Yeah.
How was it in the water? I know it was a bit of a rough waters earlier in the morning,
Yeah.
but it can go in the borderline as well.
Yeah, no, indeed. I mean, the vehicle is able to drive in any terrain. And as you can imagine, the border environment is a very complex space where there is some bit of, uneven environment, but also there are some lot of waters in between. So basically what the car does, as you can see, it is able to drive on land, and it has its tires flated in a way, or inflated. But when it gets into the water, it then deflates the tires, and it is able to use some mechanism to be able to drive on water in a way that looks like a bit of a boat, but on that basis it is able to move through. So in the morning, yes, we were in it, and it was able to move through into the Limpopo River, so that we are able to see what it can actually be able to do. But the most critical thing is its ability to enable us to be able to pick up instances where people are using these makeshift boats and try to enter South Africa illegally. So that is basically what it is actually to help us with from an interception point of view. But remember, Skara, we have not yet procured it. It is still a DCD property, and on that basis, this is just a partnership for a period, but otherwise it is very much critical for us to be able to procure a vehicle of this nature.
The minister earlier talking about reforms, that he was going to go back to parliament. Policy, it's a big issue when it comes to border fencing and the security of the nation. I remember having a conversation with you at Libombo, port of entry. You were saying your colleagues in parliament, they need to come to the party. His first visit here as Home Affairs Minister, you engaged with him. What are some of the things that you were asking him that he speaks to his colleagues in parliament in order for those reforms to translate here on the ground?
Yeah, I think the first thing is obviously what you also can see yourself, which is a border fence. I mean, here on the borderline. So that is one of the most fundamental challenges. You see, when we talk about vulnerable segments in the work that we do, unfortunately, almost everywhere is vulnerable, primarily because we do not have a solid a fence. And I think that is one thing that is very much fundamental. It is for that reason why it will be very much critical that there should be some bit of work whose intention is to be able to deal with the issues of putting up some kind of a barrier here. That is going to be very much helpful for us to be able to do this work better. So that is the fundamental issue. And the minister had actually confirmed that he will be interacting with his colleagues in the various parts of the ecosystem to be able to address this particular part. But the second part is the issue, obviously, of capacity from a border management authority point of view. You will be aware that, remember, we are still at 25% capacity. And of course, we are, I would say 75% short, as an organization. So that is one thing that he had indicated that he will try to actually continue to engage for us to be able to get kind of requisite funding. However, we do recognize what the president has done together with the Minister of Finance by giving us 990 million over the medium term for the purposes of bringing on board around 700 people. So that is a good progress, but however, we still need more because we are 8,000 short.
Just lastly, Easter is around the corner. Operations will be in full swing, I'm sure, towards. I know you have a briefing on Sunday to outline some of the plans. How ready are you to handle the large magnitude of people moving across all borders next week when Easter hits?
Yeah, you see, all of the ports, in the intervening period has been preparing their own respective port plans in terms of how they are going to handle the people as they come through the port, but also how are they going to ensure that everybody moves with security and all of that. At the same time, make sure that they put plans in place for dealing with illegal migration, the illegal movement of illicit goods, the movement of illicit goods and all of that. So all the ports are ready, and that is why we are busy consolidating all those plans to develop a national plan, which we'll announce on Sunday. So from where we are sitting, we are very much ready to make sure that we are able to facilitate people movement and good movement without any challenge on over the Easter period.
10 seconds, the answer. Did you feel the needle has moved? 3 years that the BMA has been in operation, and we're seeing such introduction of such means to curb illegal movement. But there's also the problem of border corruption. Has the needle moved at least since the introduction of the BMA?
From where we are sitting, we want South Africa to judge us, but not necessarily us judging ourselves. However, there are indicators. One of those is the fact that we are not tolerating any form of corruption. You know that we have fired over 50 individuals, and as we speak, there's 38 that are actually undergoing, all the processes, and possibly they're also going to be kicked out. So from a corruption point of view, the body cams are very much helpful. Similarly, the drones are also helpful in terms of monitoring the ecosystem. So all of these things put together, we are able to see that there is a bit of a difference. In terms of checking whether people still walk into South Africa with impunity, look at the corridors. How many buses get intercepted with people without any document? If we're able to get those happening as they used to happen, then we must be able to be told which ones are those. From where we are sitting, there is a bit of an impact. It's going to be gradual.
A major point of concern is the border fence, particularly along the Zimbabwe-South Africa boundary. Schreiber criticized the existing fence, constructed just a few years ago, as not fit for purpose, suggesting it has failed to effectively prevent illegal crossings and smuggling. This has led to renewed calls for a more durable and better designed barrier as part of the upgrade plans. The proposed improvements are expected to include modern infrastructure at border facilities, enhanced surveillance and security systems, streamlined processing for travelers and cargo, possible reconstruction or reinforcement of border fencing. The announcement signals a shift towards stricter and more technologically advanced border control, especially at strategic entry points like Beitbridge, which is one of the busiest land crossings in southern Africa.